I can't find stuff on Twitter. I'll be like, and then like I'll never get the notification, but it did come out, if that makes any sense. So
sure.
I don't know if you know, it's sometimes Twitter's fluky.
It's like Adam is shadow banned.
Well, that's because they can't cancel him. They can only shadow ban him.
Exactly. He's uncancelable.
I think he's giving that a run for its money.
Mm-hmm. I say he's not trying hard enough. How about that?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
As I always say, like, turn into the skid, you know? Go for it.
So I'm trying to get the poll post ready to go here. Opening up all the other shit that I need to have open for the show, and my computer is being difficult. But here we are. We're doing the show. How was your week? What's going on?
I had another down week after coming off the convention last weekend. This weekend was just like sit around and do nothing kind of a weekend. So I did that. The only big, eventful thing that I had was I ended up picking a couple of things up for the casino from the Casino Con for Becky, and she ended up giving me Monster cereals today in return for her gratitude.
Oh, there you go.
She didn't get me all of them, obviously, because that doesn't matter, but she got me the new Carmella Creeper, new flavor, new monster for this year. And
that was gonna be my first question. Did she get you the new one?
Yes, she got me the new one, and then she got me the Monster Mash one, which is the Carmella Creeper, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry, all mixed into one. So they don't have Fruit Brute or Fruity Mummy Yummy this year, so I'm still pissed about that because I stand in solidarity with Fruit Brute and Fruity Yummy Mummy. But I did ended up doing a taste test right before the show for Carmella Creeper, and that's like a caramel apple kind of cereal. It was interesting. I think if I had tried it in my prime when I liked sweet stuff, I'd like it better. But now, like, because I've been off sweets for quite a bit, only occasionally, it was like, ooh, like this is a new flavor, but very sweet. So like my brain's accustomed to Boo Berry and like Fruity Pebbles. This is brand new, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if what about this, but I know where it fits in my monster, ranking.
So I think we've talked about this before. Like, I don't think I've ever eaten those cereals. Like maybe Count Chocula when I was very, very young. Mm-hmm. Not a fruity cereal person. The stuff that has marshmallows in it, I think, is bad. The idea of a caramel apple cereal and the color is green just sounds very unappetizing to me.
I'll say this: when you burst open the box, you get that artificial, like, fake apple smell.
Yes.
It doesn't smell like apples. It smells like the flavored apple, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Because there's two different things. There's like grape and there's like grape flavoring. They're two different things. Well, caramel apple and caramel apples are two different things.
I would be intrigued to see this or hear you whatever. For the longest time, the fake flavor, or at the very least the fake fruit scent that I hated the most was blueberry.
Ooh, blueberry?
Yes.
And blueberry syrup, whatever they used, will stick with you. Like the flavoring. I would burp that up for days. Did I ever tell you about the time I went to the casino here in Wilkes-Barre to see the bassist band play, and me and his sister were getting blueberry iced teas, and they were bottomless? And then we got so many of them that the next time we went to see him play, iced teas weren't bottomless, at least flavored ones, because we used they had the bottle of syrup flavoring they used for mixed drink, and we drank them out of blueberry syrup flavoring, and I tasted it for a week afterwards.
I know. I don't. So I don't think that you told me that you broke their ability to give away the flavored iced teas for free,
Right.
or at least bottomless. But there are certain places like that where you'll go to like IHOP or Denny's or like those types of places,
Right.
and they'll have the flavored iced teas on there, and they won't be bottomless because it's that extra dollop of syrup, that costs extra money as opposed to like a bunch of tea bags and water, which is pretty cheap,
That's why I like Red Robin. There's flavored teas are bottomless.
Yeah. But their current like flavor of the month at Red Robin, because I've eaten there like twice in the last like 3 weeks,
Right.
is peach. Now, I'm just not a peach fan, period. But as I was saying, blueberry, my wife used to get like this like fancy, healthy blueberry cereal, and she would open up the box, and my, what do they say? Olfactory, you're like, yeah, picked that scent up as like vomit, and it like turned my stomach.
Oof.
But just recently, with the healthy frozen waffles that I eat for breakfast every day, there's like 3 or 4 different kinds that you can get, and the toughest one to get, of course, is chocolate chip. And we had accidentally picked up the blueberry ones, and they weren't that bad. Like, I was fearing the worst. I'm like, I'm going to open these up. I'm going to have that same blueberry vomit trigger effect,
Right.
But it worked out okay.
I'm glad. I was worried for you.
Why? Yes, of course. I'll have to have April get that blueberry cereal again to see if it makes me vomit. Or, again, luckily, like, my kid, like, if he's aware of the Monster cereals, he don't care about the Monster cereals.
Right. Maybe if he tasted them, he would, but who knows?
Who knows?
Right.
So again, a nice, easy peasy week for you, as you mentioned. Just more GTA, and you're feeling okay from the convention?
Yeah, I never was sick. I was tired a little bit.
Okay.
And like I will say, my legs hurt because I do think this week my the back, like my sciatic was bothering me a little bit while I was sitting at work today. And I'm like, okay, that's probably because like I walked all like it was off and on all week, but otherwise no con crud, no sick, no, you know what I mean? Nothing like that.
I was concerned,
Yeah, I know, because I take hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So I'm usually well taken care of. Tom was like, oh, every time I walked by one of the hand sanitizer things, the dispensers, the automatic ones, I'd be like, bzz,
lathered up,
Yeah, a little dab will do you.
Mm-hmm. And Tom's doing okay. He's got like kids and stuff.
Yeah, he seemed to be fine. He said he was just getting over more of the like driving the way down and like working the whole thing. He said he was a little tired, but because we ain't no spring chickens no more. But he was like, he's good, and he's going away to Ocean City, I think, this week for vacation. So he deserves it after he finishes up his DC Comics, a couple of pages in a pop-up book. That's what he's doing next.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. Like, I didn't really get to see how like they give you like how you have to do the art so it works into the pop-ups. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not like you're just getting a page and drawing it, because it has to come out in like a fold out or whatever. So I was like, oh, I have to ask him about that when he's done with it,
For sure. And I was actually going to throw it in the Discord, but it was like it was like not long enough of a clip, and there wasn't like anything new that was told. But not that anyone thought that you were lying from your story last week with Jerry O'Connell meeting him at that unnamed convention in the greater Northeast area.
Right. My paranoia is flaring up.
Well, listen. But I was listening, and they have no problem naming people and making remarks about the guy who runs the show and remarks about him. But I think they're a little bit bigger of a podcast than we are. But the Art Baltazar, Franco, John Suntress podcast, they were all there at that same convention last weekend. And they all had like this separate but same Jerry O'Connell interaction that you did.
Oh, good. See?
Yes.
I'm not a lying sack of shit. Isn't it nice?
Right. But it was,
well, can I just say I'm not a lying sack of shit in talking about Jerry O'Connell?
In this specific instance, yes.
Right.
That's correct. But it was just like as they're talking about it, I'm like, oh, I should grab the clip of this and throw this in the Discord, so like to corroborate Todd's story, to see other people talking about this. But I'm like, they listen to us. That's enough.
Yeah. I don't care. Call me a liar.
Yeah.
Put the black hat on me. I'll wear it proudly.
Right. Now, obviously we have for the main show, you had mentioned that you might be heading to the Lehigh Valley Comic Book Convention this weekend, possibly.
Possibly. I think that kibosh might have been put on that, but we'll see.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if you feel like getting out and feeling frisky, because I was like, maybe I'll do this as well, right? Mm-hmm. But we got a bunch of shit to do around the house. We were very busy this past weekend because April was making a cake and we had a wedding, and it was a lot of driving and a lot of, just back and forth. We had to go from where we are to deliver Asa to Scranton, where my brother was watching him. Mm-hmm. Then we had to drive back home, get dressed and load up for the wedding.
I heard you drank.
Well, we'll get there. Drive to Berwick, where the wedding was, and then it was like past Berwick, right? It was like on a farm. So we had to go to the farm in a converted barn where the reception was, set up the cake, drive into Berwick proper to go to the wedding, cut out of the wedding early to go back to the barn to finish the setup, because we can... Todd, I'm not sure if you knew this. I will say, they did a very good job. The barn was very fancy. Everything looked great. Everything was like, practically everything was like handmade. Like all the tables were like made by the family and everything. And everything looked fantastic, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's still a barn.
Right.
So there was lots of flies around. You know what I mean?
Did it smell like shit?
No, it didn't, but I think they did a good job of cleaning that up. But the flies are still hanging around. They're like, we're waiting for it to come back. It was here recently. Going up their driveway, I had to kick a few dead birds off the driveway.
Oh, that's good luck at a wedding.
Yes. So then we go to the reception. I got plastered for the first time in like a year and a half.
Good.
It was one of those, okay, well, we'll come back to me drinking. Then we had to drive, and then we had to leave the wedding at like 9:00 to drive from Berwick back to Scranton to go get my kid, and then drive home. So like that was our whole Saturday. And then Sunday was just kind of like recovering from everything. So we got a bunch of yard work and everything. I'll come back to my drinking here in a second, because where I was going with this was, I'm like, Lehigh Valley Comic Con, that's close, it's cheap, it's a day, it's whatever. But you know what's even cheaper and closer?
Steel Stack?
The Kielbasa Festival.
Oh.
It's now, literally Joe, right across the bridge.
What, do you do a Kielbasa podcast, or do you do a comic podcast?
I could do and that's the thing, when I go to Kielbasa Festival, I don't get any of the kielbasa. I get all the other food there. I'm not a kielbasa guy.
Right.
Most of the sausage is sausage is about my limit for cased meat.
God. I just bought my favorite cased hot dogs the other day, so
yeah.
That was a big moment for me, that I found them in a store in packs of 6 or 7. Because before, and we'll get back to your drinking, we used to be able to buy them at like local stores, a couple of them Wegmans and Garrity's and stuff, but they would buy a big bag of them that you could buy from the store, a bag of like 60 of them, and they would sell them individual by weight. You know what I mean? Fine. Well, then for some reason, all these stores stopped selling them individually, and they're like, oh, you can buy the bag of 50 of them. I'm like, no, I can't. And the other day, I just happened to be in Price Chopper, and they had the same brand, but they're like, oh, it's weighted, so whatever it is, it's 6 or 7 or whatever. I'm like, ooh, I'll buy these, and now I have my favorite hot dog back, because love hot dogs with skins on them.
I don't mind them. They're not my favorite. I'll definitely eat them, but nobody else in the house would eat them, so then I'd be stuck eating them all.
Right. Well, I'll bring you one or two so you can.
Okay.
But, and at least nobody at the wedding said anything untoward or anything.
Oh my God.
I saw your tweet.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Or your Discord. I forget. It's all blurring together.
Yeah. My tweet. But I'm like, we got there. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a drink, right? Mm-hmm. And then 1 turned to 2, and 2 turned to 8, right?
Yep, that's how it usually goes.
They were spaced out over the period of like 4 hours. But like, I don't know if they were not making them super strong. I was watching them pour them. I was making sure they were watching me tip them, you know?
Oh yeah, you got to make sure.
Do the George Costanza where I like do the big I put the dollar in between my fingers and I do the big hand production so they're seeing me go in with it. But like I was feeling good, but like I wasn't feeling it the next day. I wasn't like slurring my speech. Some of my inhibitions may have been I may have responded to some people that I typically don't. On the old social media. But yes, obviously it was April's side of the family. I didn't want to paint them with this brush because my side of the family does it as well. But it was her brother-in-law. I guess that makes him my brother-in-law as well. Just casually at one point remarks about the music and when are they going to stop playing a certain kind of music,
right?
And it was at that point I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go get another drink.
Yep. Ooh, they stopped burning.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
I don't know, it's and listen, I'm as lame as a white dude as they come, but like, I don't know. I'm still shocked. I'm like, oh, people still talk like that. All right.
I love when people talk like that. Because I always say, get it out. Then I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Well,
I know who I'm talking to, but sometimes I think I'm like, oh, like we've been together for 4.5 hours and you haven't said it. Usually you say it much more frequently.
That was always the thing at like Fish Math. Like, I wouldn't say it was like something like that, but it would definitely be something that would make everybody groan. And back in the day, my grandmother would be like, my father's name is Larry, like, Larry, stop it. And it would be something just totally gross, something like you were talking about, something so sexual that it shouldn't be at Christmas Eve dinner. But me and my brother would time it and take bets on like how long. It'd be like, you want to take over or under at 10 minutes? What do you want to do? And or whatever. We come up with it depend on, and then like we kind of suss out what the bet would be by how many my father had in him before dinner started.
Right, that's going to slide the scale a bit.
Right, sure. It would definitely be like, oh, he's had his half a bottle. Let's set the over-under at 3.5 minutes. So I totally know what you mean.
Mm.
It's the way things are. You gotta roll with them.
I guess I don't like it. And I don't know if there's anything else that you have to discuss, but I need to do some research.
Okay. Because
apparently, now I don't know if it's the Rob specific falling out, or
the whatnot.
Yes,
I saw that. I was going to bring that up to you, but
yeah, but I think there was an issue with the way that Whatnot does, and again, I need a little bit more clarity and research on it. I think there's a change in the way that Whatnot does their shipping.
Okay.
Or because I guess, and again, I need to look into more things, and I know there's a lot of people now that are pulling out of Whatnot because just like literally this month, like August 1st, they changed, like you can't combine shipping on things.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, hey, it's like a flat fee if you get something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you get multiple things from multiple people, then you can't, like it used to be that flat fee would be for everything that you got on that day or that 24-hour or on that stream. And now they've changed it that it's like flat fee for the first thing. Everything else that you buy, even if it's from the same person on the same stream, they can't combine shipping costs.
Got ya. Now it's cutting into his money. You know what I mean?
But it's not just him; it's everybody else that used Whatnot for the longest time. It's just, you know, obviously, I'll take this one as a win with an asterisk, because I think we all said here that much like any and all of his relationships with whomever it is that he works with, they always end up failing and faltering. Mm-hmm. And it's never his fault. And in this instance, the Rob's relationship with Whatnot did end, but it actually wasn't the Rob's fault this time.
Right. I wonder if they had contracts. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
And now, like with this, like a lot of contracts are ending too. You know.
I think it was like you know what? I think you're right, because like a lot of these folks, and again, listen, the Toy Boys were the ones that were mentioning it today, right? Mm-hmm. And they said that like, we're still gonna do it, like, you know, we're still gonna do the Whatnots, but we got to figure out a way around this, or because we don't want to be the ones to be like, okay, well, you got something from us, don't order anything else from us, or just get one thing from us, or, you know, if you got something from Brian today, don't get something from Broski, or vice versa.
That's too complicated for them.
Right. And I think it's all these different folks got in with Whatnot around the same time. So I think you're correct. Like, I don't think there was like a pen to paper physical contract, but I think there was some sort of deal, and that deal is probably up, and that's why all these things are changing, you know?
I will say at least the Rob didn't stream from his freezer. So
right, exactly. He's not that irresponsible, you know?
Right, he can afford a phone, so that doesn't burst into flames.
Right. Poor the Rob.
Yeah.
But that's it. Come down to the Kielbasa Festival on Saturday. Come say hi. Get some kielbasa.
Yeah, I'll come right down. I'll get me some smoked kielbasa.
I'll send you the vendor map so you can see if there's anyone there that you want to ply their wares, you know?
Sure.
All right, so I think that's it for today. This was Longbox Heroes After Dark 456.
I hope so.
Patreon.com/longboxheroes. We just did another marathon session for previewing the past August 1993.
Yep.
They're always long, and we did a lot of research. And I'm letting you know here, I am going to do my best going forward on previewing the past not to spend so much time critiquing the ads.
Oh, did somebody give you the Iggy or what?
Yeah, yes, somebody gave me something. My own brain.
Okay.
I may have lost at least a night of sleep beating myself over that I spent too much time on the ads.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Right, I know, but that's in my head. I'm like, we're trying out new bits. You know how I feel about bits.
Yep. And hey, at least the Bloodlines bits is over, so...
I don't know what that is. Is that a wrestling thing?
No, the Bloodlines from
Bloodline. Oh, see. Okay, so Bloodlines plural is the DC crossover that failed. When you said Bloodline, my mind immediately went to the World Wrestling Entertainment Roman Reigns. Italian precipitation storyline.
See, I thought I said Bloodlines, but if I dropped the S, that was an accidental.
No, but you probably said it correctly, but that's just where my mind went.
Gotcha. So yeah, we work in bits, we lose bits. You know, it happens.
We're working on everything.
Yep.
All right. Hey, everyone, thanks very much for listening. $5 and up, you're getting this early. You get it, before the main show, so you can listen to things in the correct listening order. $1 will get you all the bonus shows, the scans of the previews, access to the Discord, all that sort of stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Soft plug. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.